First, Wisconsin Athletics will host a celebration of Jeff Sauer's life on Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Kohl Center. The Sauer family will greet visitors from 4 to 6 p.m., preceding the celebration of life. Then the men's hockey team wraps up the regular season by hosting Ohio State at the Kohl Center. Both Friday and Saturday night's games will start at 7 p.m. Friday night's game will be televised by the Wisconsin channel, while Saturday's game is on BTN. Saturday is senior night, and will also include a recognition of the 40th anniversary of the 1977 NCAA championship team. Then on Sunday, UW will host its annual Skate with the Badgers at the Kohl Center. The free event runs from noon to 2 p.m. With that, head coach Tony Granato is here, and we'll take questions.
After hearing all that,
that's busy.
That list, how do you get you guys to block everything that's going on? You know, the standings, the pairwise, all of that stuff, and play 2 games this weekend.
Well, you know, that's a great point by you. It's been a challenge all year to get ready for our next challenge. This weekend for us has set up as well as we could have hoped from the start of the season on where we're at. We're in control of where we can be moving forward. So it's important, like you said. Obviously, the celebration on Thursday is going to be emotional. It's going to be a great tribute to Coach Sauer. I think, you know, our guys are all going to be there. They all know what Coach Sauer did. All of them got a chance to meet him this year. So it'll be a special night for them from that standpoint. But then I think once Friday comes around, you know, they got to focus on being ready for the game, as do we as coaches. And it's a big weekend for us as a program. It's a big weekend to set ourselves up as, you know, for our position heading into the tournament. And we've worked really hard to get here. So I think that part of it alone will help us keep the focus on the fact that there's big games to be played, and we have to play a certain way to handle a tough opponent they'll be ready to play. They got a lot riding on this weekend too.
Your top scorers came away from last weekend without a point, which is surprising considering that it seemed like for stretches they played well. They had opportunities.
Sure.
They were on the ice for a couple goals, but it's just unusual, it seems, that those 3 guys
I thought Penn State did a nice job against them on how they played against them. But, you know, those guys were still in the – like we won, you know, on Friday for a reason. Those guys were a big part of that victory, whether they scored or not. You know, I don't think it's something to have to worry about. They've played well for us all year. I'm sure that this week will practice. They'll get themselves ready to be geared up for a big weekend coming up.
Tony, have you gotten the lay of the land of what the pairwise is all about, or are you leaving that to Don and Mark?
You and Todd and Brian.
No.
Whoever else wants to explain it to me can help. No, I like the pair. I mean, I know if we finish the weekend and we're in the top 10 or 11, we have a really good chance to get a bid. I know that. We haven't made a deal of it all year because our focus has been on giving ourselves a chance to improve each and every weekend, to have the opportunity to be one of the 16 teams. We've done that, and I think that we got to stay that same course and that same focus of just worrying about that challenge, not worrying about what people rank us or what the computer spits out for numbers. Worry about winning your next game, and if you continue to grow as a team and develop and we get better faster than the rest of the teams, we'll have a really good chance to get in. So pairwise things, you know, I know we've been climbing all year, and that's a positive thing. And if we can continue to climb one more weekend, we'll be in really good shape.
All league selections will be happening over the next week or so. I mean, the 3 guys that I was asking about before are going to be the guys that, some of the guys that are in that mix from your team, a couple defensemen, I'm sure, too. Is there any way you would lobby for that? I mean, what they've done is, you know, obviously out there. But what would you say to people that don't necessarily see the, you know, the everyday kind of things that they do?
I think the leadership from Luke Cunnan as a sophomore has been, you know, I knew he was our guy pretty soon after getting on campus and being around this team. I knew he was our guy, but you always wonder, but he's a sophomore and he's a young kid. How's he going to handle that responsibility? How are his seniors going to look at him? How are the other players going to accept him as a captain? And that has been as smooth and probably better than I even could have thought on how he's led. And I mentioned it over and over, the same example of you can go back in the season, whether it been in game 1, game 10, didn't matter the score or situation. If there was a chance for him to block a shot, he put his body on the line to make sure he blocked it. There were 5-on-3 situations. There were different situations, like I said, when we were up by 3 or 4 goals where he didn't have to block it. And that sets the tone and sets the example for, what being a Badger is and what a captain's supposed to be. So from that standpoint, the goal production and how hard he competes and the big goals that he scored for our team certainly puts him in any argument with any other players in our conference as far as I'm concerned. What Trent Frederick has done as a freshman has been amazing. I'll say the same things I've said all year. Put him on the ice whenever you're in whatever situation you're in as a coach, and you're down by a goal, you're up by a goal, there's a big face-off, there's a big penalty kill, there's a power play situation, the other team's top line is out there, 34 gets pushed over the boards. And as a freshman, that's a pretty amazing thing to have as a young player to be able to handle that. So our guys, our defensemen, Linhart has been outstanding for us. Tischke's been outstanding for us. They deserve to be in that mix. Best his talent, his offensive production slowed down in the last few weeks. He had been a big contributor all year for us. So I'd love to see guys get recognized, when the season's over with. I'd rather have our team get recognized for something special. I think that's what these guys are all about as well. I think that part has been exemplified on how they played. They're more concerned about doing what's right for our team, and that's where I think our team can have the end of the year celebration would be as a group as opposed to the individual. But they've all been outstanding. Great efforts out of all of them.
Coach, obviously, since the last time you played Ohio State, a lot has changed in the standings and everything. But when you play them the second time at the end of the season like this, does anything need to change for you guys?
As far as the matchup against Ohio State goes?
Yeah.
I know we got to be ready. They're an explosive offensive team. They got a ton of guys that are dynamic one-on-one players that we're going to have to be aware of. We're going to have to play a real good, solid team defensive game to prevent them from opening the game up offensively. They remind me of the team that Omaha, Nebraska, when they came in here in kind of run and gun type of style of hockey, that we can't get involved in that type of a game. So we'll have to respect that. There's a lot riding on it for them as well. They got a lot of pride, too, on where they want to finish and how they want to finish. So it's a great matchup. It really is. I think the 2 games we played them, the game at Madison Square Garden was one of the most exciting games of the year. They scored 2 goals late to tie it. After we did a really good job defensively, they hung around, and made 2 plays at the end of the game to force the overtime. So they got an exciting group of players to watch, and we'll have to be really ready and respect the fact that we'll have to be at our best this weekend.
Tony, do you remember your senior day being a big distraction that weekend?
I remember being emotional. I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, this went fast." I think you can get a lot of positive energy out of it. I think there's a lot of excitement and buzz this weekend for a lot of different reasons. We talked about all the events happening with the alumni back. I would really hope we get a ton of fans at these 2 games this weekend to kind of celebrate how this year has gone. I mean, this group of players have worked to position themselves to potentially win a Big Ten, to potentially get a bye in the first round of the Big Ten playoffs, to potentially get a NCAA bid. And it's the last time we're going to be playing in this building this year. So I would really hope that we get a energized building here that will help us and get us to that next step of where we want to be. And that's important for our players too. Like, these guys have battled like crazy all year to get to this position. They've been fun to watch. I think the people that have come and seen our team have enjoyed it, and I'm hoping we get a full house with a bunch of crazy Badger fans that are going to enjoy a great weekend and celebration for a lot of different reasons: the seniors, the alumni, Coach Schauer's life, and a potential send-off to the Big Ten tournament, and hopefully more than that.
Aiden Cavallini's guy has been able to bring his game up. One of a lot of guys that you've had this year that have made their game better and, individually profited because of that in the goals that he's gotten. His leadership capabilities, though, I'm wondering if you can speak to that, what he does for guys in the room, because we don't see that. He does it, though.
He's just an energized kid. And I've explained this earlier, the fact that he grew up in a hockey family with his dad being in the NHL, his locker room personality, he's an NHL type of guy. He knows what his role is. He knows how to loosen his teammates up when they need to be loosened up. He knows how to get ready for a practice. He knows how to push a line mate. He's got great awareness of how to act. And so from that leadership side of things, he's done a heck of a job in there. And, he came in to this year not being a regular player. Start of the year, he was in and out a little bit. And not one complaint. All he did was get ready, be positive, do things right in practice to wait for his chance. And then when he got his chance, consistently, he kept showing more and more and more. And that's a guy with a lot of energy, a guy that has taken an opportunity and run with it because he saw a position that was needed on our team. And really, he's been a pleasure to coach, I can tell you that. And I don't know what he's going to do, if he's going to try to play pro hockey after. I think his attitude and his character alone will give him an opportunity. Someone would probably take a chance on give him a shot, and I don't know if he'll take that or move on and get into the business world. But he's an intelligent kid that'll do well on whatever he chooses to do.
How's Peter doing?
Tishke, well, he won't practice today. He's doing better. He'll be on the ice hopefully by midweek. He was sore, but I think it's nothing long term. So it's more on tolerance and on what he can handle. And I think the plan is right now to keep him off the first 2 days of the week and let him heal up a little bit and get him on the ice by midweek and get him on the ice for about 30 minutes on Friday and 30 on Saturday.
Tony, not long before Jeff passed away, he sent you a text about how he felt about your coaching here. Could you share what impact that had on you?
Just the thought of him reaching out to me was certainly something that means a lot to me. His impact on our program, and I'm trying to think of this in a bigger picture. I know what he meant to me individually, but just I talked to quite a few teammates, former teammates that played for Coach in the last few days as we get closer to the celebration. And the stories and the smiles and the laughs and the understanding of what he meant to us as a person is what will stay with us forever. He was a phenomenal person to play for. He had your back 24 hours a day, no matter what. And when you're a kid and you come into this thing, sometimes you make mistakes. And never once did he look at you and say, "You can't do that, what are you doing?" He would back you up. And I can tell you to a man that everybody that played for him would tell you the same thing. And he gave us the opportunity to grow and develop from what we wanted to as a player, as a person, as a student. And he gave us that environment and allowed us to do that. So anything that he's ever told me or said to me will always be remembered. And like I said, it's a roller coaster of emotions because we laugh and we smile at some of the stories, and then you go, "Geez, he's not here to have it happen again, or to see him again, to chat with him." So he'll be missed. But what I think is really important for our program is what it was like to be here as a player when I was here. That's what I want our players to feel the same as well. And that's the impact he had on me, the impact he had on Donnie, the impact he had on Mark, and the impact he had on our players and our program. And that environment and us having our players' backs like Jeff had ours is the same type of a culture and room that I want to have here. So he was very impactful. He will not be forgotten. His legacy, as far as when we're still here and part of this staff, will continue to be a huge part of our decisions moving forward.